The hospital corridor was flooded with bright daytime light pouring in through tall glass windows, the kind of light that usually brings hope. But that day, it felt cruel. Machines beeped steadily behind a closed delivery room door, and the smell of antiseptic hung heavy in the air. Inside, a pregnant woman lay motionless on the bed, her body exhausted after hours of labor. Outside that door, emotions collided in ways no one could have imagined. What was about to happen would expose hearts, betrayals, and a truth so powerful it would change everything. Before the story goes any further, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us of humanity, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Thread. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Her name was Aisha, a quiet, gentle woman whose strength had always been invisible to those who benefited from it the most. She had married into a wealthy family, believing love would be enough to bridge the gap between her modest background and their cold expectations. But from the very beginning, she was treated like an inconvenience rather than a blessing. Her in-laws tolerated her presence only because she carried their family name forward. Her husband, once attentive, slowly drifted away, drawn to status, pride, and another woman who fit his world better than Aisha ever could. Throughout her pregnancy, Aisha endured silent battles. Morning sickness that never seemed to end, sleepless nights, and constant anxiety about whether her child would be accepted or resented. She was often alone in the large house, sunlight streaming through expensive curtains while she sat quietly, resting her hands on her growing belly, whispering prayers for her unborn child. No one noticed how thin she became, how her smile faded, or how her eyes carried fear behind their calm surface. The day of delivery arrived under a clear blue sky. Birds chirped outside the hospital windows, and the city moved on as usual, unaware that a life was about to hang by a thread. Complications arose during labor, unexpected and severe. Doctors rushed, nurses moved swiftly, and time stretched painfully. Outside the delivery room, her husband stood stiffly, more irritated than worried. His mother paced with forced impatience, complaining about delays. Beside them stood the woman he had been secretly seeing, her presence barely concealed, her expression unreadable. Then came the moment that shattered everything. The doctors emerged with heavy faces, their eyes trained on the floor. Medical efforts, they explained, had failed. The woman had lost too much strength. According to all signs, she was gone. The words landed like a verdict. Aisha, the quiet wife, the unwanted daughter-in-law, was declared dead. What followed was not grief. It was relief disguised as shock. Her mother-in-law let out a breath she had been holding for years. The husband closed his eyes, not in pain, but in release. The future suddenly felt lighter to them, unburdened. The woman beside him tightened her grip on her purse, already imagining a different life. In the brightly lit hospital corridor, they spoke softly, not out of respect, but convenience. Their faces showed something close to celebration, thinly veiled as composure. Inside the delivery room, however, something else was happening. Aisha's body lay still, but life had not completely left her. Beneath the layers of exhaustion and trauma, her heart fought on. A monitor flickered, a faint rhythm barely noticeable. One doctor, trained to look beyond the obvious, leaned closer, checking again. Beneath the silence, there it was. A fragile pulse. And then another miracle revealed itself. Not one heartbeat, but two. The babies were alive. Twins. In that instant, the room shifted. What was once a scene of defeat became one of urgency and awe. Medical staff moved with renewed purpose, daylight reflecting off stainless steel instruments as they worked to save what could still be saved. Aisha's body responded slowly, as if clawing its way back from the edge. Oxygen filled her lungs, medication flowed, and the faint pulse grew stronger. When the doctor stepped back into the corridor, the atmosphere changed. The family expected confirmation, paperwork, closure. Instead, they received a truth that stunned them into silence. The woman they had already dismissed was not gone. She was alive, barely, and she had given birth to twins. Shock spread across their faces. The relief they had tasted moments ago curdled into confusion and fear. Suddenly, the narrative they had written for themselves collapsed. The husband's hands trembled. The woman beside him took a step back, her imagined future dissolving. The mother-in-law's confident posture crumbled as reality pressed in. Hours later, daylight still streamed through the windows when Aisha's eyes fluttered open. Her body ached, her throat burned, and her limbs felt impossibly heavy. But she was alive. In the neonatal unit nearby, two tiny lives breathed steadily, unaware of the storm that had surrounded their arrival. Nurses watched over them carefully, their small chests rising and falling in quiet defiance of fate. Recovery was slow. Aisha spent days drifting in and out of consciousness, her mind piecing together fragments. When clarity returned, she did not ask about her husband or her in-laws. She asked about her babies. When she was finally wheeled into the nursery, sunlight spilling gently across the room, tears rolled silently down her cheeks. Against all odds, they were here. Proof that life could bloom even in the harshest conditions. The people who once dismissed her now hovered awkwardly, unsure of their place. Apologies came late and hollow. Promises sounded empty. Aisha listened, but something inside her had changed. Near death had stripped away her fear. Motherhood had given her strength she never knew she possessed. In the weeks that followed, she made choices for herself and her children. Choices rooted in dignity, not desperation. She accepted help where it was genuine and walked away where it was not. Day by day, under the same bright sun that had once witnessed her near end, she rebuilt her life. Not as someone's burden, but as a survivor. As a mother of two. If this story has touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your engagement helps spread stories of resilience and hope. Before we end, we have one special request. Please comment below with your thoughts or a message of kindness for mothers who fight unseen battles every day. Your words may reach someone who truly needs them. Aisha's story reminds us that life can surprise us in the most unexpected ways. That kindness matters, even when it is not returned. And that sometimes, when the world declares an ending, it is only the beginning.
¿Cómo rebota tu
No, ni lo voy a
pedazo
pensar,
de
ni lo
boludo?
voy a pensar.
Pedazo de boludo.
Ni la voy a pensar, ni la voy a pensar. La voy a dejar ahí, al pedo, ¿sabes? Al pedo mi ilusión. ¿Sabes lo que me molesta? Es que me preocupa. Va, no es que me preocupa, pero me importa mucho. Me interesa ella. Quiero que le vaya bien. Le debe tener un parcial, le decir feliz suerte, esas cosas. Yo no puedo ser tan gil. Bueno, el boludo soy yo. Que me involucro, que me importa. El otro día estábamos acostados, abrazados, y yo dije, "Oh, qué lindo que se siente". Ayer la extrañaba un montón, me puse a ver videos nuestros, y veo cómo sonríe, me vuelve loco, amigo, y yo, que haya tanto destrato me pone re mal.